let's get it on. So, today's topic, or I should say this evening's topic, let's talk about friends or friendship, so to speak. And the only reason why I had a totally different idea of what I wanted to do today. I mean, honestly, I was going to do a little bit more of my silly satires, but it ended up being a situation that popped up last week, so to speak. And I'm like, okay, I will go ahead and talk about it. I put a poll out there. I think a total of like 4 people answered the poll, but everybody was aboard. So I'm stuck with it. So let's talk about friendships and what about friendships? What are friends? This is a good question. Everybody has their own little thought process. I mean, we've been talking about friends and friendships for so long that they even have songs about it. You know, Friends by Houdini. And then we have the OJ's Backstabbers. That's just the totally opposite direction. Then you have Jody Watley's talking about friends, but then they throw that word in frenemy, you know. So friendships, I would say it's probably it's a touchy subject for a lot of people. And I guess the only way to do it is just to get into what happened to me last weekend. Now, theoretically, I would say we had to rewind to about Father's Day. I can even go even further back. So I got these 2 friends, 3 actually, that hung out with them in high school. So, you know, I mean, we were thick as thieves. I just can't even go in depth about how much trouble that we were getting ourselves into and not necessarily going to jail for the things that we did. But, you know, we were thick as thieves. Everyone had some form of different personality of how we were looking at things. And at the end of the day, we were in sync. We were there. So this happened, like I say, reconnection probably about maybe late 2016, early 2017, something to that degree. One of my friends, he's like, I found him. And he told my other partner that he found me. And then next thing you know, we started opening communication. And haven't seen him pop in here, but this guy's like ultra busy. You know, he's got kids, pretty much grown kids to the fact, like myself, because we're all old. But I'll get to it. So the first time this joker calls me, all right, he asked me for $250. Now, mind you, I haven't talked to this dude probably in, I don't know, 20 plus years. And the first conversation we have, you're asking me for money? Seriously? And I'll disagree with you, Billy, on the proximity. And I'm going to tell you why. Let me finish this story real quick, but I'm going to tell you why I disagree. So anyway, I said, how in the world are you going to ask me for money? And then to find out he was asking for money for a girl, I guess he's a sugar daddy, but he's broke as a joke, so I don't know how he can be a sugar daddy. Borrowing money and people dumb enough to give him the money, I suppose, but I don't know. So anyway, that left a bad taste in my mouth. Like, you know what? You just don't do that. You just don't. After 20 years, you just don't say, hey, man, can you give me $250? Hey, man, no. I don't know. You might be a crackhead after all these years. I don't know. There is a problem with him because the elevator doesn't go all the way to the top. So anyway, so whenever he calls, I'm not going to lie, just some days I just don't want to answer the phone. Just kind of want to stay away from it, leave it alone or what have you. And he was just blowing me up this weekend, blowing me up. I was like, oh. So I was getting my son to bed, answered the phone. I was like, what's up, G? He's like, oh, you too good to answer the phone? You too good to answer my calls? I'm like, what are you talking about? And you got you a secretary now? You have a secretary taking calls? I'm like, okay, if I got a secretary taking calls at 9 o'clock at night, I got one heck of a secretary. And that's one heck of overtime that I'm paying. I said, no, dude, it's an app for the phone, you know, so. And he's like, no, you living on a high life. You living high on the hog. Too good to talk to me. I was like, anyway, I'm like, what do you want, man? And then he started telling me about how there was some drive-by shooting or whatever, and he just kept talking. And he goes, you know my brother got married? I said, yeah, I know your brother got married after the fact. You know my brother? I was like, okay, you're drunk. Clearly you're drunk. I'm not going to say you're drunk. I'm not going to call you out, but clearly you're drunk because you're running off the mouth. Anyway, I turn around, finally got to phone him. Talk to my other partner. Oh, he had nothing really good to say about the whole situation. He said, you need to do a podcast. You need to talk about this thing. You need to talk about this. I'm like, all right, I'll talk about it. And like I said, I put the poll up. Anyway, listening to his message that he left on my answering service, he said, I will come up to Texas and whoop your ass. I was like, only thing's going to happen is your quality of life, bro. Because first of all, you're only like 5'3", okay, 110 pounds at the most, and I'm doubling your size. I was like, no. So it started to get me to think. And going back to what Billy shot out to me as it's all about proximity. I used to believe that, but I have a friend right now, two or three actually. Ashley and John, they're nowhere close, but I'm pretty sure if I called John and said, man, I need you, he'd be up here as quick as possible. Just like I know my friend in California, if I said I need you, he'd be here quick as possible. Because there was a situation where I was going to put my hands on this dude that was messing with my daughter in Maryland, and dudes were buying tickets to meet me in Maryland because there was going to be some problems, and everybody's like, no, don't go, please don't come. Yeah, I had bail money because somebody was going to have a serious conversation with two other dudes and myself. But I digress. So that's why I say really proximity doesn't have anything to do with it. It really doesn't matter the distance as long as you have a mutual understanding and respect for each other. Like, I just go ahead and put it out now. Next week, I'm going to be having actually an interview with one of my former non-commissioned officers who's doing very well. And he saw my plight about my air conditioning last week. And he's like, okay, no problem. I can tell you the ins and outs. So if you're a homeowner or a home renter or however you want to call it, and you want to get the ins and outs about dealing with service calls, make sure you're here next Friday, 8 p.m. because I'm telling you right now, it's going to be good. Now, he won't be here at my house. We're going to go ahead and do a Skype deal. So that's some other stuff I got to hook up. And I'm just telling you right now, the day has been like almost a total disaster trying to get everything to work right. Thankfully, at 8 o'clock, it shined. And I appreciate how many people that I have coming in here today. You know, I see Warren Stademeyer up in here, Billy Combs, Mario Goss. Then I have Jacqueline. Oh, I have so many people in here watching today. I definitely appreciate it. So let's look a little bit deeper. Now, I'm not rich, of course, obviously, because I got a 9-to-5. But there's people like Mariah Carey. If you heard about Mariah Carey earlier this week, she's taking her former assistant to court for leaking information about her health and her spending habits. Now, here's the thing. She was kind of blackmailing Mariah Carey, said, hey, I'm going to release this information, if you don't pay me X amount of dollars. All right. First of all, you're a confidant, so pretty sure there's some disclosures you probably signed. But she was making $300,000 a year. Really? You a crackhead? You on some type of drugs or whatever that you have to have that additional money to your $300,000? Oh, there's something wrong with you. That doesn't make any sense. That's the ultimate greed. The ultimate greed. I'm like, shoot, if this guy right here is making $300,000 a year, I'd be living hard to hog. I would be happy. I'd be the best house dad, house husband you ever saw. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, cause I'm making, money doing next to nothing. But you have to also look at it this way. A lot of people say that they're your friends, but they're really not. Because what is a true definition of a friend? Someone who will potentially be there when you need them. Somebody who's going to look out for you necessarily, not necessarily monetarily, but, it's just one of those things. And like I said, I see it right now from John and Ashley, or from Ashley and John. And he said, yes, he would be here in a heartbeat. And that's why I say it doesn't matter. And Billy, if I called you and you could be here, you'd be here too. People always claim that you're friends. And I think we use the word friendship really, really relatively loosely. And the reason why I say that, friendship is more like a kinship. Because there's an understanding that, there's parameters that you're not going to go through. There's not a lot of things that you're going to sit there and say, well, I'm going to talk about this person when I'm with my other friends. No. It's just the way it is. And you have to look at it in a tier system because it is a tier system. I had a friend or associate, however you want to look at it, and say, hey, I got my top 5 friends. I'm happy I made top 5. I was like, all right. He said, well, this person won't make top 5 because so-and-so is like real stank, so I'm not going to mess with them. So people use that word loosely, but, when it was said and done, no one usually calls. And I'm going to give y'all a sad moment. January 31st, I turned 50. And then nobody come and try to have a party with me. I was just me, my family, my son. But you know what? I was good because I'm used to it. I'm used to rolling alone. I'm used to doing that lone wolf thing. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who are used to doing the lone wolf thing themselves. So it is what it is. So once again, going back into it, friendship, I would say more so not friendship, but associates, close associates. Because really, you're cordial when you're together, but when's the next time you're going to talk to them? Are they calling to check on you? So I would call it, associates. And there's nothing wrong with being an associate. We're still cool. I'll help you out if I can, but you're probably not the first person I'm going to call. Just like I don't expect the same. In reality, you can probably on one hand count how many true friends you have. And like I said, I know I can call John, he'll be here. I know I can call Robert, he'll be here. And I know I can call Steve-O, he'll be here. These people I haven't seen, they don't live in the same town or city, but I know they'll be there. It's just a bond that we built over time. We talk on the telephone every so often, through chats, through text messages. Those are the things, those are just a method of communication, but still letting people know that, hey, I'm thinking about you. And this is how I know. I had a jiu-jitsu tournament in Houston. John actually found out they brought their entire family to that hot gym and they watched me compete. Thank God I won because I didn't want to be a loser and they come all that way to support me. But I'll put it to you this way. Just looking at it. You have to understand the parameters. Everybody has their own avenue, however you want to look at it. They have their own lives. Just because they're not calling you doesn't mean they're not thinking about you. I see Alex popped in here. That's a friend of mine as well. This guy is on a whole different, he's moving forward, but I know for a fact he hasn't forgot about me because every so often he'll hit me up. He'll ask me what's going on. And then he'll, pretty much give me some type of words of encouragement. And he's been my motivation for a long time, especially when he's like, ask me why I'm trying to do 325 on the bench. Well, it's because I'm crazy more than likely, but it's just one of those things. But once again, I have no other expectation of saying, you're not my friend. We're not working out. We don't train. That's not it. And some people get it twisted. You look at all these people in social media. You look at all these famous people. They claim to be friends, but as soon as something goes bad, who's there? They get the OJ syndrome. Ain't nobody there. Everybody was with OJ when he was running the ball and he was famous until he potentially offed his wife and +1. So who was there? Nobody. And people are still out there and they're still trying to get at him. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't hold it too close to my heart. I don't take things personal. I just don't do that. Why? I'm not going to cry over spilled milk. So it is what it is. Now, I'm not saying it's a negative thing. Please don't take it as a negative connotation because it's not. I'm saying it to the point that I'm looking in the perspective of someone who's never necessarily been the first person you call or the second person you call. But I'll put it this way. Back when I was younger, if you wanted somebody to have that ass whooped, you call me first because I had no problem putting my hands on people because that's what I guess that's just the only way I could actually, get my aggression out. And I know Stadmeyer knows about them days when we were in Germany. They had no problem tossing them hands. But when it came down to most other situations, is it because maybe I did some things that were socially unacceptable? More than likely. Because I spoke my mind? Yeah, more than likely. Though there are reasons. So you got to ask yourself, why is it I don't have certain people hanging around me? It might be you. I'm being honest with you right now. It might be you. You may have done something that offended somebody or you embarrassed somebody or you have that friend. You always have that friend and everybody knows it's true that drinks too much, way too loud, and just has no filter. We have those friends. And sometimes, there's a time and a place to have those friends around. But then there's a time and a place not to have those friends around. So you got to ask yourself, hey, it could be you. You could be the problem. You could be the reason why nobody wants to hang out with you. I don't know, maybe your breath stinks, change to a better form of crest, get a little shine, a little glisten going on. But hey, anybody else got any take on that one before I continue on running out the mouth? And this is the most full I have seen this group in a long time, and I appreciate everyone coming in, everybody. So, John says, yeah, those knees are dangerous. So that's a little training thing that we did. Hey, that's what happens when you're a black belt in Taekwondo. You kind of learn to use your knees and your legs and whatnot. But I'll be honest with you, have you ever been in that situation where things were going to go bad? And I think Kevin Hart said it best, like, hey, you survived. Yeah, I mean, there are people that for a fact that we're real cool when everything is calm, but as soon as it hits the fan, they're ghost. They're gone. They're out. And, you got to have a negotiator here and there. You got to have somebody, at least if they're not going to throw hands, at least get you out of danger before you go to jail. Everybody has a particular role. I think they do. Now, one of the last things I'll touch on, because like I said, I don't make these long because anybody rambling by themselves for more than 20, 30 minutes, probably a little bit crazy. But you have to look at it this way. When you are in a kinship or a friendship, and when you're sitting there looking at certain aspects, what are you actually trying to get from someone? What is it that you're gaining? If it's just a relationship, meaning that, hey, I just like hanging out with you, I would say that's probably a more solid friend because there's not either here or there. Now, mind you, I'm going to flip this a little bit.
I don't think I have any family.
I don't think I have any family
too much.
In here too much.
Sometimes family, they're just as bad as
the side busters talking trash. Because
I'll be honest with you. My first tour Iraq. Nobody wrote me.
Nobody. My mom did.
Nobody. My mom did. Nobody wrote me.
Nobody wrote me.
This is your family now.
This is your family.
I'll say this.
I'll say this. What it's supposed to, I guess.
Family's just as bad as friends.
Family's just as bad as friends in certain cases.
Family will stab you in the back real quick. What I have found is that sometimes certain family members wait for the stronger in a relationship to be away before they kind of try to take advantage of the situation. And I find that kind of like, I know my mother would give me. When she was alive, of course. She would call me and say, "Should I give so and so some money?
Give so and so some money?"
Because she was, a church going lady.
I would say,
"No." And my mom like, "Hell no."
And my mom like, "Hell no."
Because you'll never see it again. My father was the type of person.
My father was the type of person. He would say, "Hey,
I loaned you money.
Where's my money? Where's my money?"
He's like Stewie.
Where's my money? Where's my money?
He almost sold my motorcycle.
Over $500.
I'll get you your money.
I'm like, I'll get you your money.
I know for a fact. Some family members will be like that. And I don't have a strong connection with a lot of my family, and that's fine. It is what it is. Everybody has their path. They go that way. But mark my words. As somebody strikes it a little bit rich. How many friends you gonna think be coming out the woodwork like a bunch of roaches? When the lights come on, they be like, hey, how you been, cuz? Oh, no, we doing good. I see you doing all right. So it's one of those situations. I'm waiting to be on the Joe Rogan level podcast. And some of the people who call themselves my friends
start popping up.
I'm like, I won't be rude because that's not my way. Yeah, it is, but I'm trying not to be. I'm trying to be a little bit better. I'm trying to be a little bit better in my old age. But I'm like, hey.
Tony says my mom gives me money a lot of family members and it kills me. Yeah. So Tony knows what I'm talking about. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. And for whatever reason, mothers are so compassionate and they feel, and they don't usually ask for it, not too much back, but that's what mothers do, You got to have a compassionate one. You got to have a strong one, but I'm kind of getting a little bit way off it. But like I said, family can be just as bad as someone you don't even know. As a matter of fact, it's a lot worse because you won't expect your own family to turn on you. But I will say this. I have seen, this was within the last 3 years, I have seen family members disown each other over money. And you're supposed to be family. Family is tighter than friendship. Disown each other over money. Called each other out their names that bad. I'm like, it's only money. So it is what it is. So I would say this, and like I said, I always keep it brief. I would say this: if by chance you have a true friend, you're gonna know it. You may not see them every day, you may not talk to them every day, but you're gonna know it because they always have your best interest at heart. So with that being said, you need to be here. I appreciate everyone coming through. You need to be here next Friday. I'm going to have Robert McAvoy. He's a great guy. He's going to talk about, especially if you're a homeowner, the ins and outs and how these contractors try to get you. He gave me a whole big scoop. Got me wanting to be an air conditioning repairman. So bottom line is this. You know your friends, you know your family, and you know your frenemies. I always say, keep 2 eyes forward, 2 eyes back, and that third eye don't be blind. But that is it. I'm keeping it brief. I want to thank everyone that came in tonight. Hey, I'm going to be by my computer, so if you want to message me after the broadcast is over, please feel free. Thank you for all the newcomers. This is still going to be put on Facebook, as you know, it's rotating on. I'm also going to be on my YouTube channel and also my Instagram. So if you're not, follow me on Instagram. It's Sykalogics on Instagram, and it's BMatthewCDV on YouTube. I'm going to be putting this on iTunes and Spotify. I had to get my 3. This is number 3. Other than that, I want to thank everybody for coming in. Thank you very much. Good to see you, Alex, Tony, Ashley, Londa. I'm calling everybody out. Mel, Alex, Jacqueline, Mario, Ronald, Warren, Stats going on, Billy. I want to thank everybody for coming in tonight, and I hope to see y'all next Friday. Until then, keep your head on swivel and enjoy your weekend. Woo, man. Oh, shoot, I gotta stop this.